Hi, thank you so much for clicking on the link. My name's Andrew and I work at a company called Action Your Potential. I'll introduce both myself and the company shortly, but we're really excited to be bringing a unique program to your business. It is about changing your mind and changing your world, both your personal and your professional world, and the way people in your team work together. So, who am I to be talking to all of you? I am a massive brain nerd. I have spent 28 years in the public education system in the UK, becoming a head teacher, deputy head teacher, working in special needs, doing lots of one-to-one coaching. But throughout that time, as a biologist, I have studied the brain, been all over the research in neuroscience, psychology, and leadership, and also cognitive science, the science of learning. Basically, our mission is to help you unleash the incredible potential of your amazing brain. And that is what we do every day. Support our clients, be they corporate, multinational businesses, or children in primary school, to be the best version of themselves, taking the applications of brain science into their daily lives. We have a problem. We live in a brain that's full of opinions, and opinions are great, but the brain is full of biases. We need to design our responses daily based on the facts about the brain, not the brain's own opinion of itself. And that's the company. Do follow us on social media. Action Your Potential, and it is about actioning your potential. So we don't see the world as it is. We see it as our brain does, and our brain is full of biases. One quick example: brains activate 3 times more powerfully when they experience negative information. That is such an important information. You can have a kind of okay day and then some small annoyance occurs, and that will become the focus, and your memory for that day will be about that one event. And we need to manage our minds to get the most out of our brain. So we're going to look at well-being, we're going to look at management of mind, we're going to look at unleashing learning and productivity. If you change your paradigm, you change your world. And loads of us, I mean billions of us, are walking around with an unhelpful paradigm, an unhelpful worldview built of experiences and living unmanaged in a human brain. An unmanaged human brain will go moany, groany, and drony. But more on that when we get together and I work you through the program. Everything we talk about is based on science. So from psychology, the work around mentalizing, which is the brain's ability to hold itself and its own thoughts at the center of its thinking and then change its behavior. That's a powerful piece of input into the work we do. And then it's really important to understand the impact this has. 91% of people who attended our courses have said it's had a significant impact on their well-being and mental health and their productivity within a few days. And when we go back and ask them 6 weeks later, it's still having that impact, but that impact is building as well as they build in the habits that we're talking about. These are the sorts of comments we've had from companies that we've worked with in the past. This was as a result of a one-to-one coaching session around well-being. We also provide one-to-one coaching as part of the service that we're offering you. And some more comments. The sessions have been the highlight of the week in challenging times. It's about supporting everyone to use every day to the best of their ability to unleash the incredible potential of their brains. So there are 3 strands and they're woven through the program. Well-being, we focus on the habits of well-being, the neuroscience of why it's important to do it. We'll focus on mind management, which is basically managing the negative chatter of the brain and what we should do about that and how we should respond rather than react to complex 21st century experiences. And we're going to very much focus on unleashing learning and productivity. They're all interrelated. The brain builds the mind. There is no separation at all between physical and mental health. And we'll explore all of that in the course. We're also not only going to tell you why you should change and what you should do, but also how. We're going to look at the technology of habit building, and we use these concepts. So a net is a connected set of behaviors that brings about positive change and improvement every day. And every net is made of a series of threads across the brain. A thread is a single behavior that will contribute to the net that we're building. And I'll give you some examples in a second. And then a daily life experiment is the process of being involved and aware of how to enact those small changes and how they connect up with what we're trying to achieve. And in order to build a net effectively, we've got to know what we want it to look like at the end of 6 or 8 weeks, and we need to be aware of which particular thread we're building and working on at the time. So one net we're focusing on is build great sleep. And as all nets, they're built of threads. These are the threads that contribute to great sleep. If you want to build great sleep, it's not a finger click. It's going to take 6, 8, 10 weeks. And it's about building in these threads. If you want to build great productivity in your team or in yourself, it's about a series of threads that together, braid together, create this network across the brain. And some of the threads inside great productivity are actually nets themselves. For example, build great sleep. So we'll teach you that stuff as well. And we've also got access to one-to-one coaching for all of you, anyone in your organization that wants one-to-one wellbeing coaching focused on the things that we will talk about. One of the fundamental skills of becoming a neuro ninja is the 12 rocks of wellbeing. These are the 12 daily habits that help the brain build the best mind possible, and we'll be talking about that during the course of the work that we do together. Our unique approach works with the grain of your brain. It teaches you the why, the what, and the how of becoming the best for the world. So what are you waiting for in terms of unleashing you and your team's incredible potential to become the best for the world? Really looking forward to working with you.
I have a lot of memories from when I was a child. One that's always stuck out to me, though, was when I was about 10 years old, and I was in school, and I struggled. And I didn't struggle with English, math, or science. I struggled holding still. And I would try to listen and focus and process ideas, but I couldn't help myself. And to be honest, I would sit there and then I would just start tapping. And the students in the class would look at me and they'd say, "Hey, stop tapping." A lot of the time, I didn't even realize I was doing it. And then eventually even the teachers got after me and they would yell at me and they'd say, "Clint, you have to stop tapping." It got so bad that I got sent to the principal's office for tapping. And he said to me, "Okay, maybe when you go back to class, just try sitting on your hands." So I did. I went back to class, and when I felt myself starting to tap, I did this. I sat on my hands. And that worked for about 5 seconds. One time I was tapping in class, and my teacher, Mr. Jensen, looked at me, and he yelled. And he said, "Clint, stay after class." And I thought to myself, this is it. I am done. Now, I've always been the type of person that believes that a single moment in time can change a person's life. And this was one of those moments for me. And I will never forget it. And so I was sitting there with Mr. Jensen and an empty classroom. And he walked past me and he sat next to his desk and he said, "Clint, come here. I want to talk to you." And as he looked me right in the eye, he said, "Now, I need you to know something. You're not in trouble. But I do have just one question that I have to ask you." And he asked, he said, "Have you ever thought about playing the drums?" And in that moment, Mr. Jensen, he leaned back and he opened the top drawer of his desk. And he reached in and he pulled out my very first pair of drumsticks. And he held them in his hands and he looked at me and he said, "Hey, Clint, you're not a problem. I think you're a drummer." From that moment on, I've never put those sticks down. I've toured, recorded, and played drums all over the world. My whole college education was paid for with drumsticks in my hand. Just because of a single moment in time, when somebody believed in me, and he saw something in me that I didn't even see within myself. And from that moment, I learned that there's a difference between being the best in the world and being the best for the world.